Okay, so our next session, it's Burn Studios presents the IMS Anthem 2011, always one of the most intriguing features. Moderator Ralph Moore, and we're honoured this year to have a man to prize him out of his studio. He's normally very shy about sharing the magic, but please welcome Sasha.
I think we should wait.
We're actually going to wait to the end to play it.
Before we start on this one, I just wanted to point out that I did the talk with Cassius last year, and just the evolution of that record, although I don't think I'm actually allowed to say who's taken it, the Cassius track, I Love You So, has been heard and reproduced by two of the biggest hip-hop artists on the planet, and is going to be on their forthcoming collaborative album. You might be able to work out who that is. But anyway, the point is, you really never know where these records are going to end up. And similarly, last year, the track had a working title of I Love You So. This year, Cut Me Down.
Cut Me Down.
Do you think that's going to change?
Well, we didn't really have a name for it. You just made me name it.
I've literally just heard it backstage. It may come as a surprise or not to hear that it clocks in at just over 10 minutes. So
5 minutes of intro, of course. It's an anthem.
How come all your records always end up being such long, epic?
Well, this one in particular, you know, I sort of finished it and it was about 6 minutes long, and I was like, this is weird. This doesn't feel right.
It's not long enough.
Yeah, so I put like 2.5 minutes of intro on it.
So you always make the director's cut.
No, I'm getting better.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
focusing on the hook a lot more.
Now, again, this is a vocal record, which...
This is my first vocal track in 10 years.
So which came first, the vocal or the kick drum?
Actually, I started working. I started focusing on working on melodic lines and hooks, and just I found this one particular sound in my laptop that I really loved working with and playing with, and I wrote about 30 or 40 different kind of hooks and melodies just on my laptop when I was traveling, hotel rooms, airports and that sort of thing. I didn't really think about the beats, the bass, all that sort of stuff. I just kept on working on these melodic hooks. And there was a record I played last year. It's a John Dalbuck record that Colombo mixed. It was one of the Ushuaia anthems last year. And there was a guy who sang on it, this guy called Krista. A friend of mine from Ibiza said, I know that guy lives in New York. You should hook up with him. So he came to the studio, and I started playing him all these little melodic hooks, and he really loved them. And he put down this, the first thing he did is he put down this guide vocal, and it was kind of half English, half Swedish, half gibberish. And then we went on and we started working on 2 or 3 other tracks, which we actually really focused on writing lyrics for. And then when Ben, I've been trying to get together with Ben to work on some sort of remix project with the Burn guys since the end of sort of the end of last summer, really. And we were just looking for the right moment to do it. We were thinking of different ways to do it, and then it came around to IMS and the anthem and stuff, and it just seemed to be the right time. And so it was only a couple of weeks ago we sort of agreed to do it. So I sort of started going back through all these melodic ideas and the songs that I've been working on with Krista, and I went back to this original vocal that he did, and I was like, this is the best thing that we've done. And it was literally, he did it, sat in the studio, just holding the mic in his hand, it was just like a guide thing. It really wasn't anything. It wasn't supposed to be anything, but actually it was a bit of magic. So that ended up being the main vocal of the track.
I mean, it does feel like a super Balearic record. Was that the intention, do you think?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I think the mix as it was a couple of weeks ago wasn't so much like that. But once I realised it was going to be an Ibiza anthem, I gave it some more of that feeling, I guess.
Okay, let's just ask you a couple of questions on the creative process. Who out there is really inspiring you at the moment? I think you mentioned Paul Kalkbrenner last night.
Yeah, I think I tried to channel some of Paul's music into this mix as well, actually, because he's definitely been one of the most inspiring producers of the last couple of years. So, you know, every one of his records I've played out and kind of made a real highlight of my set. Tattoo Tattoo was the biggest, you know, end of night record for me for a long time, and his mix of Moby as well. Yeah, he's very talented. I saw him at Fabric a few weeks back, and yeah, he had the place jumping. It was fantastic.
And one of the other things that we had a quick chat last night, and about as philosophical a chat as you can have at Pacha. But you said, we were talking about music, and you said that I think you said something like, it's important to be true to yourself.
God, I was drunk.
I think the point is that, I think the point we were trying to make was that you shouldn't veer too far from what you're about.
I guess so, but you know, it's always fun to have a pop at a different style and a different genre. You know, look at what Sander's doing at the moment. I mean, I think his last record was absolutely brilliant. I think it wasn't as received as well as it might have been, just because it was probably a little bit, maybe not what people were expecting. But the you know, that track he did with Jamie Cullum is like an amazing pop record. It should have done really well, but because it was on Sander's record, and maybe if it had been on Jamie's record, it would have been a massive hit. You know,
it's like it's almost like you're not allowed to do things like that.
Well, I take my hat off to him because he loves, you know, he loves that genre of music. He loves that sound, and he really went for it. And I probably wouldn't be able to make very good pop records. They'd all have 5-minute intros.
I actually think that the one word that you can sort of use to describe your music, the essence of it, is really trippy. Is that something? There's always that sort of hypnotic.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you know, a lot of the music I play is, I like that hypnotic, melodic, you know, emotive music. You know, but trying to stay away from it being cheesy. You know, there's a fine line there.
And just before we play a little bit of the track to people, do you want to give them an insight into exactly how this record would have been made? You know, was it, apart from is there other collaborators? Is there a studio in your house that you use? Or
I pretty much did. Let me see. I did the main hook of the track is something I was working on my laptop. The bass line I wrote in an airport. I got this thing in my head, and I sang the bass line into my iPhone and recorded it and forgot about it. And then like 2 weeks later, when I was in the studio, I was like, oh, I wrote the bass line for this. And I played back my iPhone, and it was in key perfectly with the track. And I was like, perfect. So I sort of ripped it off that, and then like I said, the vocal came together. A piece of magic like that. And then I mixed the track down in London on a Wednesday night with Steve Dubbs, who is a Chemical Brothers engineer, and he's just got this amazing little room in Moloko Studios with all this amazing analog gear. So he brought up all my stems off the laptop and just made it sound incredible in his little room.
I actually had the Chemicals down as the next question because they're quite infamous for road testing tracks before they come out.
Yeah,
has anyone so no one's heard this record before today?
No, apart from my missus, and Pete's heard it, and Ben. That's about it, really. And you just heard it in the headphones.
So shall we give people a little taster?
much it. Thank you.
Anybody got any questions out there?
Hi.
Hi. Were you using everything was going on in live, or did you use analog external synthesizers and stuff to create?
Yeah,
this?
we use some. Let me think. Yeah, we use. I really like the Korg MS-20. We have an old Korg MS-20. We feed things through. Yeah, all the processing was done analog. We brought it up on a desk and used a lot of analog compressors. Big Drama compressor. He's got a great studio with lots of analog gear in it. But pretty much the track was done with soft synths on the laptop, and then everything was processed through the analog gear. It just gives it a much bigger sound when you can crunch things into a desk and warm things up, you know.
Yeah, sounds great.
Is that going on Involver 3?
Possibly, yeah. I'm starting work on Involver 3 soon, so yeah, it might make it on there. To be honest, it's going to be the first track that we release on my new record label, Last Night on Earth, and the first place you're going to be able to get it actually is on the Audio Tool website. We're doing a remix competition through the Audio Tool website and through Burns Studios. And I think Beatport as well, and you'll be able to get the parts. And then we're going to release this version, and then Leo and Bushwhacker remixing this as we speak tonight, and their version will come out as soon as we can get them out, basically, in the next couple of weeks. And then the remixes, the best of the remixes that come out of the Audio Tools project, the Burns Studios project, will be released a little bit later.
Do you do a lot of sound design on the synths that you use, and do you program them all yourselves, or do you work with people for that?
Yeah, I like to work with people. I mean, I definitely do some noodling. Like the main hook in the track is, you know, I did that on my own. Like I like to write the melodic stuff, but I like to work with programmers and engineers because, you know, it's just fun to have. Everyone's got a different take on things. Everyone's got a different gadget that they use. Steve Dubs has got some amazing gadgets. We used all the drums came off this amazing little drum machine stroke synthesizer called an OP1. It's about that big. It looks like a weird little vintage Casio tone thing, but the sound out of it is absolutely amazing. So all the drums came off that.
Ken Scott, Digital Chaotix.
Hi.
Have you got a video yet?
A video?
Yeah.
We just finished it yesterday.
Oh, really? And you're not showing it?
No, we finished the track yesterday. We haven't had time to shoot a video yet.
Or we could do a video tomorrow if you'd like.
Oh, yeah? Well, Krista, the guy who did the vocal on the track, is this amazing guy. He's in Sweden at the moment, but yeah, he'd look good on a video. So yeah, we might do something. We might even do some kind of competition around it. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk after.
Any other questions at the back?
Right at the back.
Hello. I was just wondering, were you listening to Energy 52 while you were making it? It's got a little bit of sounds a bit like Cafe Del Mar Energy 52.
I did hear that record again because it was in Pete's top dance tracks of all time. So I guess I might have channeled it, but I think that I did try and put a flavour of Ibiza into it with the strings and stuff. So.
Sasha, you road tested a track last year called Thunderbird. I think it was a project with Youssef. Was there any more involvement with that? Quite a nice track.
It's kind of sat on the shelf. It'll probably become a release for the label. Actually, Youssef and I are working on another track as well. So yeah, we'll do something with that. I'm not sure yet. We don't have a plan for it.
You need a deadline, don't you?
Yeah, I need a deadline. The best thing that's happened to me actually recently is having a deadline for this. You know, I've got 30 or 40 tracks on my laptop that are as close to being finished as this was, and you know, having the pressure of having to deliver the anthem has done wonders for me. So I'm hoping that I have to deliver an anthem every month for the next 2 years. I might actually get a record finished.
Any last questions?
I've got one. Is Ableton now your tool of choice over Logic? Seems to be the way a lot of the.
Yeah, I really like the workflow with it. It's and I find that there's so much third-party stuff now for Ableton as well. These kind of channel strips you can buy from Pure Magnetic, and these amazing instruments you can buy for Kontakt, Native Instruments Kontakt. You know, all those strings are like from an 80s vintage string library, and just, you know, you can't afford a CS80 because they're like $7-8 grand on eBay, you know, and it'll break down all the time. But the libraries maybe 10 years ago just didn't sound very convincing. Now, you know, they go to so much effort and sampling the notes perfectly, all different kind of pressures and different settings, and you know, you can basically have a CS80 on your laptop for, you know, $50. It's so yeah, I rely on that stuff a lot. But as I said before, being able to mix it down with some analog treatments at the end, some processing, really gives it that sound.
Any more? Last one. Okay. Well, let's thank you, Sasha.